Have you ever wondered what happens when you hit your first million, but you decide to tell absolutely no one, especially your family? The people who have known you your whole life. The ones who always have an opinion on how you live. You think wealth is supposed to be loud. But the loudest people in the room are usually the ones carrying the heaviest chains. There are 8 quiet moments over a decade of hiding your wealth from your family. 8 moments that test your patience, your ego, and your sanity. And moment number 7 will change how you see them forever. This is moment 1. Not the day the money hits your account, not the day you quit your job, but the day of the family gathering. Cousin Marcus pulls up in a brand new, gleaming luxury SUV. Everyone rushes to the window to admire it, praising his success. You nod. You smile. You say absolutely nothing. They see a successful man and a struggling relative. What they don't see is the 84-month car loan suffocating his monthly income. You think his shiny car is a symbol of wealth, but it's actually loud debt, a heavy anchor dragging him underwater. 10 years ago, that pity would have crushed your ego. Now, it feels like the ultimate invisible shield. Because when everyone thinks you are broke, they don't ask you for loans, and they don't expect you to pick up the tab. True power is letting someone else win the argument while you silently win the war. You survive the first test, but the real challenge is what happens when someone actually asks for your help. You step away from the noisy table to answer the buzzing phone. It is not a warm greeting. It is a pitch for a loan. A distant relative needs $10,000 for a guaranteed business idea. The silence on the line feels incredibly heavy with expectation. You know exactly how this plays out. If you say yes, the money vanishes. If you say no, you become the greedy family villain. Family politics is always a complicated trap. It is a game where the person who saves responsibly is expected to fund the one who doesn't, not because they are bad people, not because the idea is terrible, but because money mixed with blood usually turns into emotional poison. 5 years ago, you would have sweated through this exact phone call. You would have felt guilty, desperately trying to find a way to help. You would have explained your own bills, apologizing endlessly for not having enough. But today, standing in the hallway, your pulse doesn't even quicken. People talk about FU money as the power to quit a bad job. But its most powerful use is actually enforcing quiet social boundaries. It is an invisible wall that protects your peace. When no one knows you are a millionaire, absolutely no one feels entitled to your wealth. The ultimate shield isn't an offshore account or a clever lawyer. The ultimate financial shield is complete and utter invisibility to your own relatives. You put on your best sympathetic voice. You tell them you are currently struggling with your own old car payments and simply cannot help. They do not get angry. They just pity you, again, sighing heavily, and quickly end the call to find another willing target. You walk back to the dining table. You slide the phone into your pocket. You said nothing, and you kept your peace completely intact. Because the hardest part of stealth wealth is not hiding the cash. It is being perfectly okay with letting them think you are a failure. You survived the second moment. But the third moment will test your ego in front of a waiter, a dinner bill, and cousin Marcus. You think a family dinner is about the food. But as you get older, it secretly transforms into a financial scoreboard. Cousin Marcus sits at the head of the table, loudly ordering the most expensive vintage wine for everyone to admire. Not because he loves the taste, not because he can easily afford it, but because he craves the halo effect of fake wealth. People assume an expensive suit means a heavy bank account. But usually, it just means a heavily maxed out credit limit. The performance is flawless. He laughs, he toasts, he dominates the room. But you just sit quietly, observing the invisible cracks. Then the waiter approaches. The black leather billfold hits the wooden table with a soft but incredibly heavy thud. An hour ago, he was the loudest man in the room. Now, as he reaches for the check, his hand hesitates. He throws down a heavy metal credit card with a loud clank, making absolutely sure everyone notices his supposed generosity. But you see what they don't. You see his jaw tighten as he mentally calculates the suffocating monthly interest rate. They look at the successful uncles, the flashy cousins. They never look at you, the quiet girl in the faded sweater. You had paid it hours ago. Not for the praise, not to show off, but simply because you could afford the silence. Because true power isn't proving you have money. It is knowing you have it, while letting them keep their illusions. A harsh, fluorescent light, the smell of antiseptic. A clipboard with a 5-figure medical bill that makes everyone in the room stop breathing. This is moment 4. The day the game of showing off stops, and the brutal reality of an actual emergency begins. A sudden health crisis hits the family. Suddenly nobody cares about what kind of car you drive or what label is on your suit. They only care about one thing: liquidity. Cold, hard cash that can be transferred immediately to cover the hospital deposit. Cousin Marcus paces the hallway, sweating in his designer clothes. The man who ordered the most expensive wine is now completely panicking. He is desperately whispering into his phone, begging a credit card company to raise his limit by just $1,000. You watch his heavy gold watch catch the hospital light. It is a brilliant piece of jewelry, but it cannot pay for surgery. People with loud debt look invincible on a sunny day, but they are the first to completely drown the second it starts raining. Because spending everything you earn to look wealthy leaves you with absolutely zero armor when life inevitably attacks. This is when you realize the true purpose of what financial experts call a generational emergency fund. It is not just about saving yourself. It is about becoming the silent, unbreakable financial anchor for the people you love. While Marcus is still arguing on the phone, you quietly walk up to the billing counter and slide your plain debit card across. You do not announce it. You do not ask for gratitude. You just sign the receipt and solve the crisis in absolute silence. When Marcus finally returns, defeated, the nurse tells him it has already been covered. He looks around, entirely broken and confused. The heaviest crown of stealth wealth is being the savior nobody knows about. Because true wealth is protecting them, not impressing them. A few months later, the crisis has passed, and the extended family gathers for a sunny summer barbecue on the back patio. The hospital bills are paid, the secret is perfectly safe, and now the family returns to their favorite game, the Stress Olympics. This is moment 5. The moment you realize that most people wear their exhaustion like a luxury designer label. Marcus is frantically answering work emails on a Sunday afternoon. He loudly brags about his 80-hour weeks and an upcoming promotion. But you know the absolute truth. He isn't working that hard because he wants to. He is working that hard because his lifestyle demands it. When you hide $1 million, the most fascinating thing is watching people pity your incredibly peaceful, average-paying job. They loudly ask when you are finally going to climb the corporate ladder. You smile and say you are perfectly happy right where you are. They think you lack ambition, but they simply do not understand the mathematics of the 4% rule. When your quiet investments generate more passive income than your monthly expenses, your salary is no longer a lifeline. It is just a bonus. Marcus is trading his remaining youth and health for a paycheck, just to maintain his loud illusion of success. Meanwhile, you are using your stealth wealth to quietly buy back the most expensive luxury asset in the entire world. Not a bigger house, not a faster car. You are quietly buying back your own time, hour by beautiful hour. He has a fancy executive title, but his boss completely owns his weekends, his holidays, and his peace of mind. You have a completely plain, average title, but you can walk away from your desk at any moment without a single ounce of fear. Because true wealth is never about having a massive salary. It is the absolute freedom to completely own your own Tuesday. This brings us to moment number 6. The inevitable conversation where someone tries to teach you how to finally make real money. An older relative pulls up a chair. He leans in, lowering his voice to share a highly speculative, absolutely guaranteed investment tip. He looks at your plain clothes. He tells you that if you just risk your meager savings, you won't be left behind anymore. 10 years ago, the fear of missing out would have eaten you alive. You would have risked everything just to feel included. But today, you just smile, take a slow sip of iced tea, and politely decline his offer to double your money overnight. The relative sighs and shakes his head. He genuinely believes your fear of risk is exactly why you will always be poor. What he doesn't know is that you had to completely unlearn the greatest financial myth that society ever tries to teach you. The loud myth that getting rich is supposed to be an adrenaline-pumping, exciting, high-stakes game of luck and secret insider tips. When in reality, building $1 million net worth is actually the most boring, repetitive, and perfectly quiet process in the world. It is just automatically buying the same boring assets month after month, decade after decade, while completely ignoring the loud noise. While they trade their hard-earned savings for temporary thrills and screenshots, you are trading your discipline for permanent, unbreakable peace of mind. They constantly chase the high of a lucky break, but you have already engineered a quiet system that does not rely on luck. You let them pity your boring choices. You do not need to prove your intelligence in their loud, flashy casino of illusions. The ultimate victory is realizing you no longer need to play their game at all. This brings us to moment number 7. The exact moment I promised would completely change how you look at your family forever. A sudden economic downturn hits. The news is filled with red charts and rumors of massive corporate layoffs spread like wildfire. Cousin Marcus sits in his corner office, completely paralyzed. If he loses his executive paycheck, his entire flashy lifestyle collapses in 30 days. This is when you realize the lethal danger of debt leverage. He used borrowed money to artificially inflate his life, multiplying his risk. While he used debt leverage to look wealthy, you used asset leverage. You bought quiet assets that generate income regardless of the economy. You sit in your modest living room and log into your brokerage account. The market is down 20%, wiping out years of gains. But your pulse does not change. Not because you enjoy losing money, not because you are blindly optimistic, but because you are safe. You have built a system specifically designed to survive brutal winters. And this is the exact moment the paradigm shift finally hits you. You think about Cousin Marcus. And for the very first time in 10 years, you do not feel annoyed by him. You just feel a deep, profound sadness. You realize their loud flexing was never about arrogance. It was a mask for extreme insecurity. They are trapped in a golden cage, running endlessly on a treadmill just to keep the lights on and the illusion alive. You walk into your modest kitchen and slowly pour a cup of tea. You have entirely escaped the cycle of financial anxiety forever. You are no longer playing their stressful game. And more importantly, you no longer judge them for being trapped inside of it. Because the ultimate financial flex is not surviving a devastating economic crisis. It is sipping tea, barely even noticing that there is one. You have hidden your secret well for a decade. But there is one final moment waiting for you at the 10-year mark. This is moment 8. A full decade has passed since the day you decided to hide your net worth from everyone. You stand in the exact same family driveway. But now you are wearing clothes that whisper quality instead of screaming for attention. For 3,650 days, you survived the psychological pain of looking like you were falling behind. But while they were compounding their lifestyle debt, you were building the silent, unbreakable compound interest of incredibly boring financial habits. Then a tired engine breaks the evening silence. A small, scratched-up, older used car slowly pulls into the family driveway. Cousin Marcus steps out. The flashy designer suit is gone. the heavy gold watch is gone. He just looks incredibly, deeply tired. The heavy, dark shadow of debt that dragged behind him for a decade has finally swallowed his loud illusion of wealth completely. He walks over to you. There is absolutely no loud bragging today. There is no fake, glowing halo of prestige around his shoulders. He looks at the ground and quietly admits that his luxury SUV was repossessed years ago. The expensive illusion finally broke him. You do not feel any superiority. You do not feel the need to say, "I told you so." You just listen quietly. He looks closely at your peaceful face. "You were the smart one," he whispers quietly. "You never played the stupid game." He has absolutely no idea that you are a millionaire. He just sees someone who isn't drowning in debt and endless anxiety. You both walk inside to the noisy family dinner table. It is the exact same chaotic table from 10 years ago. But this time, the dynamic has completely flipped. You sit down, carrying absolutely no heavy chains of expectation or fear, because the ultimate reward of stealth wealth is not the money itself. It is the quiet admiration of your unbroken peace. The family dinner continues. The exact same loud voices, the same arguments, and the exact same scoreboard of invisible social status. But Cousin Marcus sits entirely silent. The man who used to completely dominate this room now barely even touches his food. An uncle loudly asks him about his latest expensive business venture. Marcus just gives a weak, tired smile and shakes his head. The heavy weight of his financial reality has finally crushed his need to perform. The room grows uncomfortably quiet. People know exactly how to react to bragging. They have absolutely no idea how to react to genuine, quiet defeat. You think the hardest part of hiding your wealth is the first year. But the true psychological test is actually the 10th. To break the awkward silence, an aunt turns to you. She asks if you are still driving that terrible old scratched car. You smile warmly. You tell her, yes, it still runs perfectly fine. You feel absolutely no urge whatsoever to defend yourself, because you deeply understand the opportunity cost of ego. Every single dollar spent to impress them is a dollar stolen from your freedom. Marcus paid that heavy cost with his health and his future. You paid it with your silence, and you bought your life back. Have you ever wondered what actually happens when you hit your first million and tell absolutely no one? The answer is beautifully simple. You reach into your pocket under the table, holding your phone in the exact same way you did a decade ago. 10 years ago, you hid the money because you were absolutely terrified of their judgment and their heavy expectations. Today, you hide it simply because their opinions no longer carry any weight in your mind whatsoever. You slide the phone back into your pocket without even checking the balance. You have completely quietly won the game. As you drive home in the exact same scratched-up sedan, you realize the greatest return on your investment was never the compound interest. It was the absolute, unshakable emotional armor you built by keeping your mouth entirely shut for 3,650 days. Stealth wealth is never about deceiving the people you love. It is about actively protecting your relationships from the poison of financial envy. When they think you have nothing, they cannot ask you for loans, they cannot judge your purchases, and they cannot resent your success. By removing money from the family dynamic entirely, you actually preserve the only thing that really mattered in the very first place. If they pity you, let them. If they try to give you terrible, unsolicited financial advice, just smile and thank them politely. Because you understand the ultimate rule, you do not need their validation when you already have your own absolute freedom. You traded the temporary hollow applause of a dining room table for the permanent ability to own every single hour of your life. So what is the absolute hardest thing to hide when you quietly become a millionaire and tell no one? It is not the cash. It is not the investments. It is not even the urge to buy something expensive. It is the profound, unbreakable sense of peace in your eyes while everyone else is still desperately fighting for survival. And in a world that is obsessed with making noise, that quiet peace is the most powerful flex of all. Keep building your wealth in the dark. Let them keep their illusions. Your quiet, perfectly free morning has finally arrived. The characters and stories in this video are fictional and created for illustrative purposes based on common financial situations, not real individuals. The content in this video is for entertainment and illustrative purposes about money psychology and is not investment or personal financial advice. Please do your own research or consult a licensed financial professional before making decisions.